Good afternoon, everybody. It is Steve Lookner with Agenda Free TV. We are here to bring you a live update on the situation in Spain and Portugal, where a major power outage has been going on now for over 4 hours, affecting a large part of Spain and Portugal. Millions and millions of people affected. We want to bring you the latest updates on this situation, take some of your comments on the air, we will get you some updates here. And also, hang on a moment. I can't see the chat right here, so I'm going to open the window so I can. I want to say a quick thanks to our moderators who are here. We have moderating Ruth Krafasi, Janet B., and over there on YouTube, on X, Linda Belk, Larry, Misha, all moderating over there. On Twitch, Matthew Kohai3 and Idaho Star, thank you. Also, thanks to EJRod31 for subscribing on Twitch. And thanks to our Facebook moderators over there. Also, thanks to Sharon Klass and Goslin for subscribing on Facebook. Thanks to Laura Nolan and the Great Walrus for being members on YouTube, and Midnight, I think it's Midnight Noon over there. All right, let's get into this. Yes, Midnight Noon. Get you a little summary about what's going on first. Let's do that first, and we'll get to some updates. Thanks also Al Starr and Janet B. and Ruth Krafasi for moderating, if I didn't thank you before. All right, so you can see right here, major power outage in Spain and Portugal knocks out subway networks, traffic lights, and ATMs. And this is ongoing. Now, they are working on getting it fixed. You can see AP says a blackout brought much of Spain and Portugal to a standstill today, halting subway and railway trains, cutting phone service, and shutting down traffic lights and ATMs for millions of people across the Iberian Peninsula. In case you're not aware, these countries are next to each other, Spain and Portugal. They share a peninsula. I should pull a map up here just to clarify. Why don't I do that? Because not everybody knows, so let me do that first. Here, look. Here, look. It's Google Maps. Spain and Portugal. There you go. France here. UK up here. Okay, that being said, again, a blackout brought much of Spain and Portugal to a standstill today, halting subway and railway trains, cutting phone service, and shutting down traffic lights and ATMs for millions of people across the Iberian Peninsula. Spanish power distributor Red Eléctrica said restoring power fully to the country and neighboring Portugal could take 6 to 10 hours. By mid-afternoon, voltage was progressively being restored in the north, south, and west of the peninsula of the country, the company said. The company declined to speculate on the causes of the blackout. The Portuguese National Cybersecurity Center issued a statement saying there was no sign the outage was due to a cyber attack. The head of operations of the Spanish electric grid operator Red Eléctrica told journalists it was unprecedented, calling the event exceptional and extraordinary. You know, I just saw something, speaking of whether it's a cyber attack, I just saw something right as we were coming on the air where ABC Spain reported that the European Union has ruled out a cyber attack as the cause of the massive blackout. Here, let me show you this actually. I think I can pull this up for you. Yes. No? Here, I have it. This is Antonio Costa, who is the president of the European Council. The EU Council. The president of the EU Council posted this. He said, "At this point, there are no indications of any cyber attack. Grid operators in both countries are working on finding the cause and on restoring the electricity supply." Solid Pixel says, was it the result of sabotage on physical infrastructure? I have not heard of any reporting that this was any kind of malicious act, but we'll talk more about that. AP reports the outage hit across Spain and Portugal, including their capitals, Madrid and Lisbon. Offices closed and traffic was snarled as traffic lights stopped working. So traffic lights were not working. It was not possible to make calls on some mobile phone networks, though some apps were working. In Barcelona, residents walked into stores searching for battery-powered radios, and civilians directed traffic at junctions along the Gran Via Avenue that cuts through the city. The countries have a combined population of about 60 million people. It was not immediately clear exactly how many were affected. It is rare to have such a widespread outage across the Iberian Peninsula. Authorities said the cause was not immediately known, though one Portuguese official said the problem appeared to be with the electricity distribution network in Spain. The Spanish Prime Minister convened an extraordinary meeting of Spain's National Security Council and visited Red Electrica. I'm going to show you some posts from them. The Portuguese Prime Minister said he expected power to be restored by the end of the day. Portugal's government said the outage appeared to stem from problems outside the country. It looks like it was a problem with the distribution network, apparently in Spain. It's still being ascertained, said a Portuguese cabinet minister. Portuguese distributor E-Redes said the outage was due to a problem with the European electricity system. The company said it was compelled to cut power in specific areas to stabilize the network. The blackout is the second serious European power outage in less than 6 weeks. This is a bigger one than the London one, than the UK one. 6 weeks after a March 20 fire shut down Heathrow Airport in the UK, and comes as authorities across Europe grid against sabotage backed by Russia. No reporting that this is sabotage today yet. The European Commission executive vice president in charge of promoting clean energy told Spanish journalists in Brussels there were no indications of a cyber attack. She described this outage as one of the most serious episodes recorded in Europe in recent times. I'm going to take some more comments, give you some more details here. Also, Red Electrica has been posting. Red Electrica is the Spanish electric grid operator. So here is they just posted, hold on a second, let me show you some of what they're posting. They said 27 minutes ago, no, that's old. That's old. We want this one. That's like a half hour ago. The restoration of electricity supply is progressing in various parts of Spain, they say. Electricity is now available in certain areas they list a bunch of regions. We continue to work in coordination with companies in the sector to gradually restore service throughout the peninsula. The recovery of the electricity supply is progressing in different areas of the country. Oh no, this is not over. Yes, I am planning on doing some coverage of the Canadian elections this evening. That's this evening. Texas Grown, our viewer, thinks 60 million is a transmission from the generation units problem. Atlee thinks this has something to do with wind and solar. Sam Stamos says grid oscillation short-circuiting currents. I'll get you some more analysis on this. By the way, I don't even know if I'm going to show it because, oh, the Spanish Prime Minister is speaking right now. The Spanish Prime Minister is speaking, although I think I don't have it in English. So let me throw on the Spanish Prime Minister, Pedro Sanchez, speaking right now. Hold on, I'm going to put this on right now.
Quiero apelar a la ciudadanía para colaborar con todas las autoridades, para actuar con responsabilidad y civismo, como siempre hemos hecho durante crisis pasadas. Somos desde el Gobierno plenamente conscientes del tremendo impacto y la trascendencia de lo que hoy está ocurriendo, de la grave alteración para la vida cotidiana de la gente, de las pérdidas económicas en negocios, en empresas, en industrias y de la angustia que está causando en millones de hogares, especialmente allí donde hay personas expuestas como consecuencia de este corte de suministro, de este apagón. En todo caso, que nadie lo dude, el Gobierno está trabajando y va a trabajar por conocer la causa de este corte de suministro eléctrico. Ahora, en todo caso, la prioridad es trabajar para que cuanto antes recuperemos la normalidad. Sí quisiera informar a la ciudadanía y también a los medios de comunicación de que hay convocado un nuevo Consejo de Seguridad Nacional a partir de las 7 de la tarde, donde evaluaremos la situación y tomaremos, en su caso, medidas adicionales. Gracias.
I guess he just spoke. I heard him saying they're trying to figure out the cause. I got the tail end of it. Yeah, I'll see if I'm sure I'll get some reporting on what he said before that. How long did he speak for? I might be able to replay it for you. I actually should be able to replay it for you. Hold on a second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to download it. Hang on one moment. Hang on one moment here. One moment. So he did say, I can tell you he said, from a translation I'm seeing online, he said that they don't have conclusive information about what caused the outage. He said we're not ruling out any hypothesis. He just said that. He also said that they are working to find the causes and resolve the problem. Power has already been restored in several areas of the north and south of the peninsula. Yes, so he said we don't have any conclusive information yet on the cause. Said again, they're not ruling anything out. He said he hopes the power will be restored as soon as possible. Also, he announced civil protection emergency to level 3. I don't know what the civil protection emergency levels in Spain. Let me look this up. Oopsie. Hold on a second here. I was trying to find a description of level 3. I'm seeing that he announced a level 3 civil protection emergency. I don't have quickly for you a description of that. I can play again. I think I have it right here. Let's see. Do I have it? The video for you. I thought it downloaded here. It should. Yes. Why is this acting all weird? Why is this acting weird? There we go. Okay, for those of you who know Spanish, I know some of it, so I'm not going to be able to translate the whole thing. But let's look at moments ago, Pedro Sanchez spoke, the Prime Minister of Spain. Hang on a moment. I'm going to put this up on the screen for you. It was not a long speech. I think I have it all here. Uh-oh. Yes, I have the whole thing. Here we go. Okay, so this is moments ago. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez. He spoke for about 5 minutes. So let's listen in. Hopefully this works. Hopefully this works for you.
Buenas tardes y gracias a los medios de comunicación y a la ciudadanía por atender esta comparecencia. Acabamos de concluir el Consejo de Seguridad Nacional que he convocado personalmente para dar respuesta a la crisis de electricidad que sufre nuestro país desde esta mañana.
I can tell you that he basically just said hello and yet he just finished meeting with people about this.
Como saben, se ha producido en el día de hoy una fuerte oscilación en términos técnicos en el sistema eléctrico europeo que ha desencadenado una interrupción generalizada del suministro en toda la península ibérica y en algunas zonas del sur de Francia. Instantes después, la empresa Red Eléctrica Española ha puesto en marcha sus protocolos de seguridad y el Ejecutivo, tal y como mandata el plan vigente sobre riesgos del sistema eléctrico, ha declarado lo que se viene a denominar la crisis de electricidad. Además, hay 3 comunidades autónomas que han solicitado formalmente el nivel 3 de emergencia de protección civil. Estas son Andalucía, Extremadura y Madrid.
So far, he's just said that he's talked about this, that there's this, electricity crisis going on and problem with the supply of electricity. And he said a few different areas. I don't know what this means there, but I think requested something like a level 3 civil emergency or whatever they call it. So he has, that's the basic idea of what he's been talking about so far.
Y el Gobierno, como no puede ser de otra manera, ha aceptado su solicitud y va a asumir la gestión. Y hará lo propio con otras comunidades autónomas que lo quieran. Mientras tanto, los técnicos de Red Eléctrica están trabajando para determinar las causas y solucionar, esto es lo más importante ahora mismo, el problema lo antes posible. España cuenta con planes de reposición definidos para afrontar este escenario. Por el momento ya se ha restablecido el suministro en varios territorios del norte y del sur de la península gracias a las interconexiones con Francia y con Marruecos, países a los cuales quiero agradecer también su solidaridad en este momento. También se han reactivado los ciclos combinados y las centrales hidroeléctricas de todo el país, algo que debería permitirnos recuperar el suministro en toda España pronto. Sobre las causas, todavía no tenemos información concluyente sobre los motivos de este corte. Por lo que pido a la ciudadanía, al igual que hemos hecho en crisis pasadas, que se informen por los canales oficiales. Es mejor no especular, ya sabremos las causas, no descartamos ninguna hipótesis, pero ahora debemos centrarnos en lo más importante, que es devolver la electricidad a nuestros hogares.
All right, so he did say, I could hear that he said, they don't have a cause yet, and he doesn't want to speculate on a cause, and that they will let people know as soon as they know more about that. He said the priority now is to get people's electricity back. And he did say that some of it's been restored. I didn't get the exact wording, but we've heard from the government that in some parts of we've heard from the electric grid operator that in some parts of Spain they've started to restore the power. But again, he said that they don't have a cause yet. And he said best not to speculate.
Desde el inicio del corte de suministro, todos los ministerios competentes han adoptado medidas para abordar esta situación. Las fuerzas y cuerpos de seguridad del Estado han ampliado su presencia y vigilancia en las calles y vías de comunicación, pero por el momento no se observa ninguna afectación de protección civil. Repito, no hay problemas de inseguridad. Nuestro sistema...
He's saying there are not problems with security, with civil protection. So I'm not sure. I think that means he means there's not problems providing security to the people, but I'm not sure. Don't hold me to that. That's what I was taking from that. Anyways, let's continue.
El hospitalario está funcionando correctamente, pese a la dificultad. Hay grupos electrógenos de los centros sanitarios que están funcionando sin problemas y cuentan además con una larga autonomía. Además, se está dando servicio a domicilio a las personas con necesidades especiales. El tráfico portuario funciona sin incidencia, el tráfico aéreo tampoco se ha visto afectado, aunque hemos decidido reducirlo un 20% para garantizar la seguridad y el funcionamiento fluido. Y respecto al tráfico ferroviario, está detenido, como saben ustedes, por motivos de seguridad para los pasajeros. Los trayectos de media y larga distancia no se recuperarán hoy, pero los equipos están trabajando para tratar de recuperar los servicios de cercanía lo antes posible. En lo que respecta al plano económico, los cajeros automáticos de muchos bancos se han visto afectados, pero los sistemas de pago, tanto mayoristas como minoristas, están funcionando con normalidad, como también lo está haciendo la banca electrónica. Lo más importante ahora es seguir las recomendaciones que quiero trasladar al conjunto de la ciudadanía hasta que esta crisis se haya solucionado. En primer lugar, reduzcamos al mínimo los desplazamientos. Reduzcamos al mínimo los desplazamientos.
So he's saying it's important to follow the recommendations of the authorities. That's one of the things he said. He said, what are desplazamientos? I'm going to ask, I'm sure some of our viewers speak Spanish fluently and know exactly what he's saying. So I'll check out the chat too. But if I can get that one word, desplazamientos? Movements? One of ours says it's movements. Is that what he said? Because he just said it twice. People think it's movement. People think it's moving from place to place. But Angelus SG says desplazamientos. I'm going to look it up right now. I can't find it, but anyways. Oh yes, desplazamiento, displacement, movement. So he said, the most important thing is reduce your movements, reduce your trips. Don't move or don't go places. Stay home, I think that is probably saying.
En segundo lugar, sigamos únicamente información oficial y, por tanto, no propaguemos, no hagamos caso a informaciones de dudosa procedencia, como ha ocurrido en otras crisis.
He also said, follow official information sources.
Sabemos perfectamente que estas crisis son propicias para la propagación de bulos, de desinformación, que lo que hacen es polarizar y inocular desasosiego al conjunto de la ciudadanía. Así que pido responsabilidad a la gente para no difundir informaciones de dudosa procedencia. Y en tercer lugar,
he doesn't want to spend people to spread around unreliable information.
Debemos hacer un uso responsable del teléfono móvil. Ahora las telecomunicaciones están en un momento crítico, vamos a pasar unas horas críticas hasta que recuperemos totalmente la electricidad y, por tanto, necesitamos hacer llamadas breves y usemos el teléfono de emergencias 112 solo cuando sea realmente necesario. Por tanto,
I think he's saying only use the telephone if it's an emergency and keep the conversation short. I believe he just said that.
Hagamos uso responsable de la telefonía móvil, de manera responsable, insisto, y también hagamos llamadas breves y usemos el teléfono de emergencias 112 solo cuando sea realmente necesario. Las administraciones públicas competentes han puesto en marcha sus protocolos para auxiliar a las personas que están viéndose afectadas. El Gobierno está comunicándose, como no podía ser de otra manera, con el jefe del Estado, con Su Majestad el Rey, con los distintos grupos parlamentarios, con nuestros socios europeos, con las instituciones comunitarias y también con la OTAN. Quiero transmitir que España cuenta con mecanismos para afrontar este tipo de situaciones, empezando por los servidores públicos, por nuestros magníficos servidores públicos de todas las administraciones que están realizando una labor encomiable en un día difícil como es el día de hoy. Una vez más, quiero apelar a la ciudadanía para colaborar con todas las autoridades, para actuar con responsabilidad y civismo, como siempre hemos hecho durante crisis pasadas. Somos desde el Gobierno plenamente conscientes del tremendo impacto y la trascendencia de lo que hoy está ocurriendo, de la grave alteración para la vida cotidiana de la gente, de las pérdidas económicas en negocios, en empresas, en industrias y de la angustia que está causando en millones de hogares, especialmente allí donde hay personas expuestas como consecuencia de este corte de suministro, de este apagón. En todo caso, que nadie lo dude, el Gobierno está trabajando y va a trabajar por conocer la causa de este corte de suministro eléctrico. Ahora, en todo caso, la
Got cut off at the end there, but he said they were working on figuring out a cause. I heard him talking about how much it's affecting various people in the country and businesses and stuff. I didn't get the whole translation. I think some of our viewers in the chat were giving more translation. But again, he did say repeatedly they're looking for the cause. They don't know the exact cause. As soon as they will present that information when they have it. He doesn't want to rule anything out. But they are certainly working on getting power restored, telling people to listen to official channels, to minimize their movements and travels. Sounds like they don't want people to use the phone that much unless it's an emergency. That's what if my translation was correct. What else here? Beam Me Up said, use phones only in emergencies. And they've started to restore power in some areas. Yeah, Auntie Ginny says he asked to restrict travel. And follow news from official sources, he said. Oh, yeah. De Entre Casa said he said trains are stopped. I thought he said something about that, but I couldn't make it out exactly. He talked about, I think he did mention that. I mean, I'm guessing DeAndre Concha knows that because they know Spanish. So, yeah, he did, I think, mention that there was some people who lost power in France as well. I'll try to get you more. I can get you some more information about the trains and stuff. But anyways, that's the basic idea of what he was talking about. Hang on a moment here. All right, if I get any more live video from there, I will certainly put put that up on the screen for you. All right, let's go back and talk more about that. Let me check for updates here, and let's also just kind of sum up what's going on. First of all, I owe a couple thank yous here. Thank you to Sebastian Lee, who says it's strange this happened after Iran blew up. Well, the Iran fire was at a port. I don't know of any connection. I don't know why there would be a connection between the Iran port explosion and this. But again, to repeat, the Prime Minister said that they do not have a cause yet, and they are working on ascertaining it, and they will report when they have an official cause. Thank you so much, Sebastian Lee. Thank you, Linda Cosma, our member. Thank you, Texas Grown, who says, I am an NERC FERC operator manager in the U.S. ERCOT Texas system. We monitor, watch over 32 million people. Sounds like overcapacity trip at the gen unit. That's what Texas Grown says. Not enough reserve capacity, hence not enough gen out. Thank you, Texas Grown. I really appreciate it. Thank you also, Ashes, our member. Thank you, Joanna Crompton, our member. Thank you, David L., our member. Laura Nolan, Great Walrus, Midnight Neon. Thank you also, Gordon Esseri from Canada, who mentioned that, the grid operator said, we showed that earlier, that there are some places that are getting restored. I'll show you what the grid operator said. I have it right here. I have it right here. This is Red Electrica, the grid operator. So they posted 50 minutes ago. They said the restoration of electricity supply is progressing in various areas of the country. This is Spain. Electricity is now available in these areas. I don't know if that's all the area or some of the area. And they said, we continue to work in coordination with companies in the sector to gradually restore service throughout the peninsula, which in the peninsula includes Spain and Portugal. They also said a couple hours ago, voltage has now been restored at substations in several areas of the north, south, and west of the peninsula. We continue to work with all our resources to restore power as soon as possible throughout the entire country. The main objective of the work in this phase of the restoration is to provide voltage to the generating groups. Hang on a moment here. One moment. Hey, thanks, by the way, to Dark Crypto 800 and Artful Nothing for your support over there on Twitch, and Mort 730 and Brainstorm Warning, and Matthew Kohai 3, and Barker J. Rar. Also, Tom Coolcan, thanks for subscribing, as well as Soup Z's. Auntie Ginny said that the Prime Minister said thanks to the French grid support, the north of Spain. Hold on a second. He said that thanks to the French grid support, the north of Spain has restored power. The same is true to some areas of the south thanks to the Moroccan grid help. Thanks, Auntie Ginny. Let me get you some more updates on what he had to say. Hold on a second here. He said, we're going to have a critical few hours until the power is restored. So he said that, because I'm seeing a translation of it. And so he said it's going to be hours, at least for some people. To confirm, he did call for a response for using cell phones sparingly and avoiding unnecessary travel. So we got that right. The outlet La Sexta, which is a Spanish news outlet, La Sexta, says supermarkets are closing because they can't charge during the due to the blackout. Now, what do they mean can't charge? Do they mean they can't charge people? Like people can't pay? I'm looking at the actual article. There's the headline, but in the article it doesn't actually say. The headline says, supermarkets are closing because they can't charge due to the blackout. But I guess that, depending on the translation, that could mean a couple different things. Laura G says point of sale systems are out. I wouldn't be surprised about that. Let me show you something here. Here, look. Spain brought to a halt by huge blackout. I've heard about ATMs being down, some ATMs not working. You can see here, this is from AFP. Panicked customers scrambled to withdraw cash from banks and streets overflowed with crowds trying in vain to get a signal as a Spain-wide power outage plunged the country into chaos on Monday. One person AFP talks about was traveling on the Madrid metro when the blackout brought his journey to a shuddering halt. The light went out and the carriage stopped, but the train managed to crawl into the platform, he told AFP. People were stunned because this has never happened in Spain. There is no phone coverage. I can't call my family, my parents, nothing. I can't even go to work, he said. At Cibeles Square, one of the Spanish capital's busiest thoroughfares, the blackout of traffic lights unleashed a cacophony of sirens, whistles, and car horns as police tried to control the pile-up of traffic. Traffic lights were not working. Bewildered office workers congregated in streets with their computers made useless without internet, alongside residents who were thankful they had not been trapped in elevators. A disoriented Marina Sierra was trying to contact her dad and improvise a route home to the Madrid suburbs after her school was shut. The building we were in was giving off smoke. They had to evacuate us quickly. I'm shocked because everything is totally out of control, she said. Let me show you the bottom part of this article here. Hold on. Pull this up for you. Transport chaos also gripped Spain's second city, Barcelona, where locals and tourists alike flooded the streets in a desperate attempt to find out what had happened. A student who lives 1 hour outside Barcelona was in the middle of a presentation when the blackout struck her school and left her in a predicament. As the internet wasn't coming back, they told us to go home, but there were not trains either, she said. Now we don't know what to do. Okay, and then AFP also reported, you can see here, massive blackout hit Spain and Portugal. Power went out across, they say, all of Spain and Portugal. Is that true that it's all? Cutting cell phone and internet networks, halting trains, and trapping people in elevators, officials said. Spain's government was scrambling to identify the origin. The operator, this was several hours ago, the operator said, Red Electrica said it would likely take 6 to 10 hours to restore power in the country and urged people not to speculate as the cause of the outage. Images posted on social media showed metro stations plunged into darkness, with trains halted and people in offices and hallways using the light on their phones to see. The National Road Authority, DGT, told motorists to stop driving because stoplights were out, forcing vehicles to slow to avoid collisions and of police officers to direct traffic at intersections. AFP journalists in Madrid and Barcelona saw people coming out into the streets holding their smartphones up to try to connect to a network. People were also trapped in elevators. The internet activity monitoring site NetBlocks told AFP the blackout caused a loss of much of the country's digital infrastructure. It said web connections plunged to just 17% of normal usage. Flights delayed. Portugal's REN operator said in a statement to AFP that all the Iberian Peninsula, which includes Spain and Portugal, was affected by the blackout. It occurred around midday. I think it occurred around 12:30 local Spanish time. There was also a brief blackout in southwest France, but that country's electricity operator said power was now restored. Airports operator Spain's railway operator Adif said the power cut halted trains across the entire country. Airports operator in Spain, ANA, said there were flight delays, but the country's airports were still operational thanks to contingency electrical systems. Spain's El País newspaper reported photos on its website of stopped metro trains in Madrid, police directing traffic, and its own reporters working in a darkened office by the torchlight. It also reported that hospitals' core departments were still able to keep functioning because of backup generators, even if some other units were left without power. In Europe, in November 2006, about 10 million people were left without power for an hour in France, Germany, Belgium, the Netherlands, Italy, and Spain, caused by a failure in Germany's grid. This sounds like a bigger and longer blackout than that was. All right, let me get some comments from you guys and give you some more updates here. This is a huge blackout. Oh, I hear some more from the train operator. Hold on a second. This is the Spanish train operator. Adif. So 3 hours ago, they said rail services for all companies have been suspended until further notice. Passengers with planned trips are asked to not go to the stations. We will continue to provide update. Then earlier they said a general incident affecting the power supply has disrupted rail traffic across the entire network. Rail services for all companies have been suspended until further notice. Wow. Some people are suggesting possible causes. I saw some reporting about that. I want to get you some more on that. Austin Batman says videos on X show passengers stranded in the middle of nowhere, train passengers. Hang on a second here. Do I have a photo of that I can show you? I might have some video of that from earlier, possibly. I don't have a photo of it. Hold on a second here. Yeah, I'm seeing some photos on social media or videos of a stranded train. Supposedly. Our viewer Flippin' on Twitch says, why is everyone just on the street? Just go home. Well, I think initially people from the reporting didn't know what was happening. Also, you might think oh, it's going to get fixed in 5 minutes. But it's now been going on for, the report I saw said it started around 12:30 Spanish time. And right now it is actually it'd be about 6 hours later. It's 6:42. So I think it started about 6 hours ago. Cassie says, do they know the reason why? No, not yet. Oh, and also I should point out something about how they lose solar power, because they're using a bunch of solar power right now, but they'll lose that when the sun goes down. But I read that the wind power might increase. Let me see if I can get something about that. Hold on. Yeah, Javier Blas, who is with Bloomberg, said a few hours ago, about 3 hours ago, he said that all power was coming from solar and wind, plus a little from hydro in France. And he said, hang on a moment here. I thought he posted something else about this. Yes, he said about Javier Blas of Bloomberg said about 3 hours ago that Spain had about 4 hours until they would lose solar. Well, he said in about 4 hours, Spain will lose about 1/3 of its current electricity generation. Yeah, sunset. Sunset is around 9 p.m. Madrid time, he said. But I saw one report suggesting that the wind could pick up and help with wind power at night. You can write to me too on X at Lookner. Give me one moment here. I'm pulling up a couple other things. Oops, that didn't work. Hold on. You know what I hate? When you're trying to sign into a site and it gives you the pictures that you have to click on and it takes forever. Oh my gosh. What happened with this? People know what I'm talking about. The other thing, you sign into something and you say stay signed in, and then you're just not signed. You have to sign in again. Give me 1 minute here. Ridiculous. Okay, now. I think I have everything signed in that I need to be. All right. Oh. Can I get an update from REN? From REN. Let's see if I get an update from them. REN. They are the Portuguese national power operator. Where is their social media? Because I think they just posted something. You know, there's not much there. For what it's worth, REN on their X account, which is the, I believe, Portuguese electric operator, said, REN confirms a massive cut in electricity supply across the Iberian Peninsula, which is affecting part of French territory, which I believe that part's been the France stuff has been restored, with an impact on Portugal from 11:33 a.m. That was Portugal time. And then Portugal time right now is 5:48. Yes. So this has been going on for over 6 hours. I can confirm that. Oh, hold on. Where is, hold on a moment here. Hold on a moment here. According to Bloomberg, the Portuguese power grid operator says there is, quote, very gradual resumption of energy consumption. And it has recovered production at 2 hydropower plants in Portugal. That's an interesting update from Bloomberg. That the Portuguese power grid operator says they have recovered production at 2 hydropower plants in Portugal. That's promising. Oh, also, I have an update here. Okay, this is the transport minister from Spain, Oscar Puente. He just posted some things. Let's see. He just posted this right now. Attention, information of interest. Current situation of trains awaiting rescue. Trains awaiting rescue. He just posted this. Madrid. There are 2 medium distance. This is hard to. 2 medium distance, one in Barrial de Pozuelo and another in Santa Maria de la Alameda, pending evacuation. 2 in the Botanical Garden tunnels. They were evacuated through emergency exits. Looks like maybe a couple trains are still waiting to be evacuated, if I'm reading that right. Barcelona, trains pending evacuation, and it lists a bunch of trains. So it looks like in Spain, there are trains that got stuck that haven't been evacuated. I mean, this was just posted and you're looking at the same translation I am. That would mean people have been sitting on them for like 6 hours. Irish Sweetness says, must be very hot in there. Quentin from Astoria says that now that's crazy. I mean, again, this was just posted. I'm showing you exactly what I'm seeing. Yeah, current situation of trains awaiting rescue. There's all these different trains. Valencia, all trains in Valencia evacuated and on track and in tunnels. 1 train with 40 passengers stopped and a bus was secured. to bring passengers from that train. Another train stopped with 20 on board. A bus was secured for that. In Asturias, one train with 6 people. This looks like maybe water has been taken away. That's probably a bad translation. I don't know exactly what that means. This train in Asturias has 6 people. This train says 1 person. This train says it says 282 people and 15 people. It's a little confusing. In Andalusia, 2 trains pending evacuation. Okay, and then, so without getting into all the details here, because there's like translation issues, but what you can see is in this post that was just made by Oscar Puente, who's the Minister of Transportation, a number of trains in Spain still need to be evacuated. Okay, so that's interesting that he just posted that 5 minutes ago. I hope those people get evacuated soon. Oh, look, here's another post. He just posted 1 minute ago. He said, "Attention, we will also open the stations of various places during the night. All travelers will be evacuated," he said. Oh, and he said here, various stations will remain open tonight. The goal is to make it easier for people who need to take a train and have no other option to stay in the stations overnight. Attention, he said about an hour ago. It is not expected that medium and long distance trains will resume service today. Wow. It is not expected that medium and long distance trains will resume service today. Therefore, all passengers who had planned a trip of this nature will not be able to do so. We are working to ensure that once the power supply is restored, we can resume these services, which will no longer be possible today. The current time in Spain is 6:55 p.m. The Edge says, I have 3 friends stuck there now at Lisbon Airport. Anka says, I bet it's hot on those trains too. So sad. He said the intention regarding commuter services trains is to resume service as soon as the power supply is restored. Therefore, the announcement is limited for the time being to medium and long distance trains. Remember, this power outage happened around noontime. So many people were at work or at school away from home. And then you have a situation where trains are not running and traffic lights are not working. People are being told to stay off the roads and not travel. So a lot of people probably are stranded. Look at this. Look at this post from Oscar Puente. This is from a half an hour ago. The top priority right now is to rescue and assist passengers trapped on trains that were operating at the time of the blackout. The situation on the high-speed rail network continues to be very complicated. Now, he updated this a half hour later. This is from about a half hour ago. But as of a half hour, look, there's 25 trains 26. As of a half hour ago, there were 26 trains. Now, I assume that's the high-speed rail network that he's talking about there. But he lists 26 trains that needed to be where people were still stuck on. And he said trying to solve it as soon as possible. He's the Minister of Transportation. And again, at the time he posted that, the blackout was about 6 hours old. Joe Bishop says, imagine just sitting there. By the way, a quick thank you to Aidan Pierce Ashcroft, who says, hello from Spain, Malaga, Andalusia. Still no power nor reception here in my region. Mijas Costa. I'm glad my partner didn't take the train today. Thank you, Aidan. Stay safe there. Aidan Pierce Ashcroft. Thank you to Mr. Monty Burns. Thank you, Mr. Monty Burns, for your support. Also, thank you to Joe, who says, it's terrifying to think how many people can die in the hospital without power. People who need help but can't call out. What about water pumps? So one thing is that one of the articles I was reading, I think maybe the AFP article, said that hospitals had like generators, I think. Did the AP article say that? For the most important areas? Yeah, so for example, AP said hospitals and other emergency services in both Spain and Portugal switched to generators. Gas stations stopped working. In Portugal, a country of some 10.6 million people, the outage hit Lisbon and surrounding areas, as well as northern and southern parts. Portuguese police placed more officers on duty to direct traffic and cope with increased requests for help, including for people trapped in elevators. We've heard about a bunch of people trapped in elevators. Several Lisbon, Portugal subway cars were evacuated. Also in Portugal, courts stopped work and ATMs and electronic payment systems were affected. Little more background from AP. Spain's public broadcaster said a major power outage hit several regions of the country just after midday local time, leaving its newsroom. Spain's parliament in Madrid and subway stations across the country were without power. A graph on Spain's electricity network website. Oh, can I find that? Hold on. Showing demand across the country. Where can I find the map? Oh, hold on. I think I can find it here. At the Red Electrica site, if I can get it to work. Maybe I need to. Hold on a second. One moment. One moment. Real-time electricity demand. I'm going to their website to see if I can pull up this graph. National. Okay, there it is. There's the graph. I found it. Okay, now let's look at this chart. Can I tell what I'm looking at? This is the Red Electrica. I need to make this smaller, this site. This site needs to be made smaller so you can see it. I'm trying to make it smaller, but I can't do it. It's weird. Hold on a second here. There. Demand 21 megawatts, expected 21 megawatts. Where's supply? Yellow and green are demand. This must be the supply down here. right? But there's no key. So, hold on a second here. So again, what you're seeing is a graph here. This is right there. That's about 12:30 p.m. local time. And what you see is the supply just drops from, the generation drops from about, what is it, 27 megawatts to about, what, down to 12 or so down here. And you can see this, the supply is going up, but the supply is way less than the demand, according to this. I think this is about maybe 40 minutes old. It says 6:20 p.m., which I think is about 40 minutes ago. This says MW up here, which is why I'm saying megawatts. Demand MW. But that is from the electricity operator, and that's the national demand. And again, I'm assuming this is the supply. I saw a similar graph before. Let me just confirm this, but I think Javier Blas from Bloomberg posted that graph too. Yes, he posted the same graph that I was looking at. Oh, but he's saying gigawatts. Now I'm confused because Javier Blas is saying GW. So maybe it's GW, even though the page says MW? I'm confused. Oh, maybe the numbers are just different. One of our viewers mentioned that the graph is in megawatts, but maybe... I'm an idiot. Of course, you're right. You are right. Thank you. It was, yes. No, it is gigawatts. Well, it's not. Let me explain. But thank you. The viewers have clarified what was going on with that graph. Yes, so it is in megawatts, but these numbers are in thousands. So 1,000 megawatts would be a gigawatt. So... like this here is 27,000 megawatts. Hold on. So my point is, thank you viewers, that these are numbers in megawatts, but they're thousands. So this could also say 28 gigawatts and 14 gigawatts. Okay, so to clarify, yes, that was my fault. So it looks like the latest number they have updated from about a half an hour ago is that the demand is, well, the expected demand around now would be about 26 gigawatts, and the production is, as of a half hour ago, is about 16 gigawatts. But you can see the drop right here. A sudden drop in generation. That's it. So we'll keep an eye on that graph. Hold on a second here. Oh, thank you also. Trollden State sent me a link to that as well. Hold on a second here. Where is this? I'm seeing some reporting, but I don't know where the original statement is. Our viewer, Mega Revolution, sent me a report that supposedly had something from the Portuguese grid operator about what happened today. Now, the Spanish authorities, we heard the Prime Minister a short while ago say they don't know what caused this today. But I'd like to actually get the... I'm not seeing the original statement from the Portuguese company. So I don't want to start throwing out that they said X, Y, or Z without actually having the statement in front of me. Hang on a moment. So Sky News said, I don't have a statement from them. One story said they said it to Sky News. Sky News says that Portugal's grid operator claimed the outage was caused by a fault in the Spanish electricity grid related to a rare atmospheric phenomenon. And the grid operator said, due to extreme temperature variations in Spain, there were anomalous oscillations in very high voltage lines. Now, I don't know if that's true. I haven't actually seen them release that statement. It sounds like maybe someone from there said it to Sky News. That's not coming from Spain right now. And again, I haven't actually seen an official statement released by the Portuguese grid operator that said that. But again, Sky News, and I from what I can gather, maybe this was somebody talking to Sky News from the grid operator, because I haven't actually seen a Portugal grid operator statement that says this. But Sky News says Portugal's grid operator claimed the outage was caused by a fault in the Spanish electricity grid related to a rare atmospheric phenomenon. Due to extreme temperature variations in Spain, there were anomalous oscillations in very high voltage lines. Maybe that's the cause. I don't know. Oh, hold on a moment here. I have a video I can show you too. Thanks, folks, for writing in with what you're seeing on this. Hang on a moment here. Yes, I will be doing coverage later of the Canadian election. Sorry, I'm just checking for some updates here. ABC Spanish News, ABC says, electricity service is beginning to be restored in various municipalities in the community of Madrid. So the region of Spain whose capital is Madrid, they're starting to have some electricity restored, according to, that is again, ABC News in Spain. ABC, which is a Spanish outlet. Yeah, several towns in the community of Madrid are gradually restoring electricity supply, they say. Oh, also, according to ABC Spain, the government in the Madrid community, the Madrid region, said 286 people have been trapped in elevators there. She said that hospitals in the Madrid region, the situation was not worrying as they are being supplied with their own resources and generators. But the main problem right now is the supply of portable respiratory equipment. Also, Portugal is gradually recovering its electricity supply, they reported. Here, let me show you something else here. Huge power outage paralyzes parts of Spain and Portugal. This is from Reuters. A huge power outage hit large parts of Spain and Portugal, paralyzing traffic, grounding flights, trapping people in elevators, and leaving power operators scrambling to restore power to millions of homes and businesses. Some hospitals halted routine work, and the two countries' governments convened emergency cabinet meetings, with officials initially saying a possible cyber attack could not be ruled out. However, there was also an official from an EU official had said that they were not seeing signs of a cyber attack. The Prime Minister of Spain has said that they do not have a conclusive cause yet. Yeah, the president of the EU Commission said it was not a cyber attack. Said there was no indication of a cyber attack at this stage. The president of the EU Council said that. Let's see here. Reuters witnesses said power had started returning to the Basque Country and Barcelona areas of Spain in the early afternoon. It was not clear when power might be more widely restored. It sounds like it's a question of hours at this point. Hospitals in Madrid and Catalonia in Spain suspended all routine medical work, but were still attending to critical patients using backup generators. Several Spanish oil refineries were shut down and retail businesses shut. The Bank of Spain said electronic banking was functioning adequately on backup systems, though residents also reported ATM screens had gone blank. The Madrid mayor urged city residents to minimize their journeys and stay where they were. The Portuguese electricity utility said it had no forecast for when energy supply would be normalized. The Público newspaper said it warned it could take several hours. Play at the Madrid Open tennis tournament was suspended. Scoreboards went dark and overhead cameras lost power. There were traffic jams in Madrid city center as traffic lights stopped working. Local radio reported people strapped in stalled metro cars and elevators. As I mentioned to you, there are dozens of, about a half an hour ago, the Minister of Transport in Spain said there were dozens of trains that had not been evacuated yet. The metro was closed in Lisbon and Porto in Portugal, and trains were not running. Lisbon's subway transport operator said the subway was at a standstill with people still inside the trains. Lisbon Airport was running on backup generators. Reuters says such widespread outages are unusual in Europe. In 2003, a problem with a hydroelectric power line between Italy and Switzerland caused a major outage across the whole Italian peninsula for around 12 hours. In 2006, an overload power network in Germany caused electricity cuts across parts of Germany and in France, Italy, Spain, Austria, Belgium, Netherlands, and as far as Morocco. Oh, there's a little video that goes with this article. Let me just show you that. Hold on a second here. Let's play the video for you. Is this it right here? No, that's not it. Let's play the video. There it is. Here is a video from that Reuters article. Oops, where'd the video go? Time to get the video back up. There we go. It's a person directing traffic. I don't know if that's an official, somebody with local government or a police officer, if it's just a civilian. I don't know. That looked like maybe ticket machines not working in the metro. More things. I don't know if those are ATMs there. AJ Nikolai, our viewer, says trains stopped in the middle of nowhere. Some trains still need to be evacuated. Oopsie, hold on a moment here. Give me one moment here. One moment here. Chihuahua Mama says you really take things for granted until you don't have them. Thanks, by the way, to Patricia Santos, our member, and To Dog Mom, our member. And I want to shout out our moderators. We have Janet B moderating. Ruth Krafasi is moderating over on YouTube. On Twitch, we have Big Ball of Yarn, Idaho Star, I Got That Fire, Matthew Kohai 3. Thank you. Linda Belk, Larry, Misha on X. K. Lowry Body over there on Facebook. Thank you. And one of our viewers said, Cash is King, Judith Walker. Thanks Sharon Klassen Goslin and Aaron Van S. for subscribing. Aaron says, Nightmare Trapped in an Elevator. Thanks Sharon Klassen Goslin. Oh, I said that already. For subscribing. Diane Allworth, thanks for subscribing. And Jennifer Ellers. Thanks Margaret Riley for moderating and for the Facebook stars. This has been going on for over 6 hours. Also, thank you to Drunk Can't Cook for subscribing over there on Twitch. Maybe let's check the website for the grid operator and see if they've updated the graph. Did they update the graph? that we were looking at. I'm looking. Oops, hold on a second here. Everything, there's too many things open here. That graph is slow to load. I got an error. I tried to load that graph on the Spanish grid operator's website. Maybe everybody's trying to load that graph. Let's try something else here. How about the main site? Tay Lin thinks this is 100% ridiculous. Smoogle says that is one bigly power outage. Yogi Shiem says 6 hours in a dark train. Okay, I'm back on the Red Electrica. Okay, let's see if this works. This is the Spanish grid operator site. I'm trying to get back to that. Oh, I got it. I got the graph. Here's the graph. Have they updated it? Let's see. I'm slowly. Okay. When's the last update? Oh, this has not been updated in a while. So just so you can see here, what we're looking at is this graph from the grid operator in Spain. If I can shrink it a little bit. For some reason, it doesn't let me. Oh, there we go. Okay, so what you're seeing is this is the demand up here. Yellow is the real. Oh. Yes, okay, now I'm seeing it. There we go. Yellow is generation at the bottom. Green is, let me do this real quick. Real, expected, and scheduled. Anyways, green is expected, oh, I thought this was demand. No, it says monitoring the demand. I assume green is expected demand. Because the graph says demand, but this is not demand. It says real, expected, scheduled. As I understand it, this is the actual supply here. And that dropped from about 27 gigawatts to about 12 gigawatts. Actually, at one point, yeah, it was down to about 12. And you can see it going up. But the last they've updated that bottom line is about almost an hour ago now. See at the bottom there, though? That is the supply right there. The generation. B079 says they can't measure the actual demand, only delivered. But green is expected demand, I believe. Maybe red is scheduled production. Is that what that is? How much they're expecting to produce or something? I do know this person I follow from Bloomberg was talking about that graph. And he said, Javier Blas, that the graph showed the generation on the bottom. Oh, okay. Demand is supply. Yeah, so he said official data shows demand equals supply. All right. So I think there might be some, I might be confused over how the graph is using demand. So it says demand, but I mean, this is the supply, and the green says expected. So I guess that would be the expected generation, because you can see that they track pretty closely with each other, but not after the blackout. So there's certainly a very... Oops, hold on a second. What was that? I'm seeing some video. I don't know what that is. Do we have a live video for you? I have a live video from Barcelona. View of Barcelona's Plaza de España as commuters try to travel home following a power outage. Hey, let's look at Barcelona. I have a live shot from Barcelona. So again, that is in, that's Barcelona's Plaza de España as commuters try to travel home following a power outage across large parts of Spain. The current time there, I think it's 7:30 p.m. $7:30 p.m. One of our viewers, Esther, says that's a mall. Plaza de España. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. I'm going to look it up. That round thing is a shopping mall. Yes, that round thing is the Arenas de Barcelona shopping mall. That is the round building. I can confirm that. Then on the left, I think that's a hotel. Hotel Catalonia, maybe? How widespread is the outage? It's been impacting most of, from what I understand, most of Portugal and Spain. But some people are getting their power back now. Our viewer Alurius says it's a mall, got lots of little shops and a food court. Dave Sanchez thinks solar is having a great day today. Sales are strong. Let me check for some more local updates. Yeah, we don't know the exact number of people that have been impacted by this, but much of Spain has been impacted across the country. And I believe much of Portugal as well. I don't have exact numbers for you. ABC Spain reports that that power is returning intermittently in the north, in the areas of Asturias and the Basque Country. Also, EFE News in Spain says areas of all the communities affected by the blackout in Spain have started to recover their power. Oh, let me show you this
que sufre en nuestro
from
país.
Pedro Sanchez. Hold on. From Pedro Sanchez, let me show you this. We saw his statement earlier, but he posted about it as well. This is the Prime Minister of Spain. He said, Red Electrica, the grid operator there in Spain, is working to determine the cause of this power outage and resolve the problem as soon as possible. Spain has mechanisms to deal with these type of situations. Once again, I appeal to the public to cooperate with all authorities and act responsibly and civilly as we have always done. He said, we still do not, as of 14 minutes ago, he said, we still do not have conclusive information about the reasons for this outage. I ask citizens, as we have done in past crises, to seek information through official channels. It is best not to speculate. Now we must focus on the most important thing, which is to return the electricity to our homes. So he just said 14 minutes ago on his social media, we don't have a confirmed cause. There is Barcelona again. Let me read you another update here. John Ruiz says, so they really don't know the cause yet? I mean, maybe they have some ideas. I don't know. The Washington Post reports that a massive power outage has paralyzed Spain and Portugal today in an incident with no immediate explanation. The stoppage, which occurred about 7 hours ago, 12:30 Madrid time, caused chaos across the Iberian Peninsula and showed the vulnerability of Europe's electrical grid, even on days without extreme weather or spiking demand. That's an interesting point the Washington Post makes. It's not like it's 100 degrees Fahrenheit there today or something. Trains stopped running, hospitals canceled surgeries, according to news agencies, and depended on backup generators. Businesses ground to a halt as machines were unable to process credit card transactions. The outage even suspended several Madrid Open tennis matches, with photos showing a court with non-functioning scoreboards and darkened stands. I actually think I have some photos of that from the from AP. So here's AP, people outside a train station there. Spectators roam inside the Madrid Open tennis tournament venue during the blackout. You can see it's dark there. The Madrid Open tennis tournament venue is empty during the blackout. Traffic lights stopped working in downtown Lisbon, Portugal. Spectators roam inside the Madrid Open tennis tournament in the dark. There's the tennis tournament as well. People check their mobile phones as they stand outside a subway station. Reportedly, a lot of people went outside to try to get a cell signal. Motorists drive past traffic lights that are not working in Lisbon, Portugal. Passengers wait outside a train station in Madrid. The train stopped running. A medical staffer relocates a patient in Pamplona, northern Spain. Passengers waiting at a station in Pamplona. Passengers wait outside Outage train station in Madrid. So you get the idea. As of about 2 hours ago, the grid operator said some power had been restored across corners of the Iberian Peninsula. More than 50 million people live on the Iberian Peninsula with Portugal and Spain. But authorities did not provide an immediate estimate for the number of people affected by the blackout, says the Washington Post. Portugal's national grid operator described it as a massive cut in electrical supply across the peninsula. Data from the Spanish grid operator showed a sudden plunge of electricity from about 27 gigawatts to less than 13 gigawatts. We saw that graph. Portugal's Lusa news agency said the country's cybersecurity center had seen no evidence so far that the blackout stemmed from a cyber attack. Reuters quoted unnamed officials as saying a cyber attack had not been ruled out. Previous power outages in Europe have been caused by technical problems, lightning strikes, and damaged cables. In 2003, Italy faced a huge blackout because a tree was too close to a power line, resulting in a flashover or a jump of electricity from the line to vegetation. We don't know the cause of it. And the sun is going down, you can see there. LERR viewer says, what would you do if you got off the train and had no way to get home? So the Ministry of Transport in Spain said they were keeping some train stations open tonight. Oh, hold on a second. I have an update from a breaking update. News update from the grid operator in Spain. Guys, this is a new post right here. More than 1/5 of peninsular demand. So the peninsula is Spain and basically Spain and Portugal. More than 1/5 of the demand has already been recovered by demand, I think they mean supply, by generation capacity. More than 1/5 of the generation has already been recovered with 5,500 megawatts from our own production. Hold on a second. Where did it go? From our own production and interconnection with France. Power is being progressively restored in all electrical zones of the country, with 45% of the transmission grid's substations already energized. Okay, that's the latest update. So they say, now when they say 5,500 has been restored, is that 1/5 of the total? Because they don't have to restore, I don't think, 25. Here, let me show you that graph again. My point is, if the supply went down from like 27 to 13, that would mean they would need to restore like 14. So have they restored 5? I'll have to go check out that graph again. But that is the latest update. Hold on a second here. Latest update from Spanish power grid operator. I'll show you that update again. Again, here is the update. They just posted this 5 minutes ago. They said as of 20 minutes ago, more than 1/5 of the generation has already been recovered with 5,508 megawatts from autonomous production and interconnection with France. Power is being progressively restored in all electrical zones of the country, Spain, with 45% of the transmission grid substations already energized. I don't know what that means for when everybody will get their power back. Jay Hitchcock says, how does the electricity travel from France to the peninsula? I assume some sort of power lines, but I'm not sure. Otto Green says, could you imagine the looting if that was America? Thor says, I wonder how many people will die because they can't call medical help. Well, hopefully people are looking out for other people. And, we know that hospitals have generators there for their most urgent needs. So hopefully people can get emergency help if they need it. Chris Dill says, genuinely one of my biggest fears is the looting if this happened in America. Yeah, trains have basically been shut down in Spain. I don't know if any of them are working yet. The medium and long range trains will not be resuming today in Spain, they said. Also, many traffic lights out in Spain and Portugal. Oh, let me show you something from the Portuguese Prime Minister. Let me show you something from the Portuguese government. Hold on a moment here. Oh, this is in Portuguese. I'm going to have to translate this. Do any of our viewers know Portuguese? Let me show you what the latest statement from the Portuguese government. I'm going to have to take a picture of this with my phone and then translate it that way. All right, I took a picture. Can I do translate? Translate. Oh no, that's not the one. Okay, no, this is the one right here. No evidence of a cyber attack. 29 minutes ago. That says the National Cybersecurity Center calls for attention to the circulation of disinformation and reinforces that so far there is no evidence of a cyber attack. No, I'm not pronouncing this right because I don't know Portuguese, but that means no, there are indications of a cyber attack. The National Cybersecurity Center in Portugal calls attention to the circulation of disinformation and reinforces that, as of this moment, there are no indications of a cyber attack. I used Google to translate that. That is from the Portuguese government. Lola says, it says, for the moment, there is not indications of a cyber attack, basically. Yes, as Steve Smith says, you can use Google Lens. So I opened up the Google app and I took a photo in the Google app, and then a button pops up that says translate, and you just hit that button. Interesting. Well, there you go. And then what is this? Hold on. Oh, thanks for the link from Miguel, who sent me a statement from the Portuguese energy company. Have they put out any other statements? Let's see. Hold on. Let me just make sure this is the most update one. Media. That's what it is. Okay. Thank you to our viewer who sent me this statement from the Portuguese electric company, REN. It says, cutting in electric supply throughout the Iberian Peninsula affects Portugal, update 3. And just to clarify, folks, the Iberian Peninsula is includes peninsular Spain and continental Portugal, which is most of the region, as well as Andorra and Gibraltar, and I guess a small part of France. But most of the Iberian Peninsula is Portugal and Spain. Okay, so they said, update, REN informs that the re-energization operations of the national electricity system in Portugal are taking place following the power cut in the Iberian Peninsula and felt in Portugal since 11:33 p.m. local time, which is about 7 hours ago today. At this time, it was possible to recover production in the water plants of Castelo de Bode and the thermoelectric de Tapada de Otirio. I think those are 2 hydroelectric plants that they now have production in. With this production, a very gradual process of taking up consumption is underway, first in the region of these plants and progressively in adjacent areas. The necessary actions are also being prepared to take up, first of all, the supply to priority points of consumption, such as hospitals, security forces, airports, and railways and road. The operations of the replenishment of the distribution of energy throughout the country are of particular complexity because they are able to start from a situation of complete emptiness and only using the means of national production, unlike what is happening in Spain, whose operation to take up normality is counting on contributions of the France and Moroccan electrical systems. So it sounds like they're saying they can't use other countries' electricity like Spain can use some of France and Morocco. That's what it sounds like. Our viewer, Ricardo de Oliveira Fernandez, says some smaller cities in Portugal have electricity now. There's a live shot, by the way, of Barcelona, Spain. Thanks to our viewer for sending that in to me. Steve Smith is asking about nuclear power plants. I don't know what specifically is going on with nuclear power plants there, but I mean, I'm sure they have some sort of, they plan for this kind of thing. I don't know what the procedure is, whether can they function without electricity for a while? Do they have their own generators or something? There's 5 nuclear power plants in Spain, according to Wikipedia, for example. Oh, I have something here. I have an update. I have an update from Reuters on this exact question about nuclear power plants. So Reuters reports, hang on, I'll tell you what they said. See, maybe I can get the statement from the original place. Okay, I'm at their website, trying to load their website. Their website's not loading. Anyways, I'm having difficulty loading the Spanish Nuclear Safety Council website. But according to Reuters, The Nuclear Safety Council in Spain said that Spain's nuclear reactors are preparing to reconnect to the power grid. The reactors are in safe condition after a power blackout. 4 reactors stopped operating automatically after the outage, after which emergency generators kicked in. Oh, and I have an update here from the train operator in Spain. This is new. Long and medium distance trains will not run all day, regardless of the evolution of the power outage. The commuter train service, which would be more short distance, I assume, remains suspended, and its restoration will depend on the restoration of power. Similar to what we heard earlier. I'd still like to get the graph for you of the power generation. Let's try that again. Oh, I think I can get it. I think we have the graph. Have they updated it? No, this graph still hasn't been updated. Oh, the graph got updated. Okay, this is the graph of the power generation in Spain from the electricity grid operator. So you can see that around 12:30, the power generation suddenly dropped from about 27 gigawatts down to eventually about 12 gigawatts. And now it has gone back up to, well, this isn't up to date, but as about an hour ago, it was back up to about 15 gigawatts. But they've recovered even more because they said that they now had recovered about 5,500, 5.5 gigawatts. That was the latest update, which I guess would put it around 17.5, if my math is right, or 18. So, like around where my pointer is. They said, with their own production increasing and help from, I think, France, they said they recovered about 5.5 gigawatts. But it dropped, as you can see here, about, from 27 to roughly 12. But that number, this graph stops at 6:40 p.m., which is about an hour and 15 minutes ago. Thanks, by the way, to Rob Zamiga. Rob thinks a big problem is Spain exports too much energy to other countries and the residents of Spain pay more. That's what Rob Zamiga thinks. Thanks, Rob, for your support. That's really kind of you. Thanks also Marcia Braga, our member. Thanks also Pale Rider 747. Michael Mooney, thank you. Michael says, did Europe suffer an EMP event? We don't know the cause right now. The Portuguese government says there's no indications of a cyber attack. We don't know the cause, though. Thank you, Jeff Manji, for the gift memberships. That's so nice of you. Thanks, Patricia Santos, our member. One of our viewers said the people on screen are clearly in a panic. Yeah, I mean, at that particular spot in Barcelona, it seems pretty chill. But I mean, I think a lot of people are probably home. Thanks also, Doug Ross, for the the gift membership. Also at this point, I mean, people know what's happening. We were reading there was a lot of confusion when this first started. One of our viewers, Madan Pokhara, claims that a local newspaper in Portugal claimed that electricity would be restored in Porto in the next 2 hours. Let's see here. Yes, thank you. The newspaper Jornal Noticias in Portugal says electricity will be restored in the city of Porto in the next 2 hours. I'm looking at their site right now. Several areas of Portugal are currently without electricity. Hang on a moment here. Robert Kaczynski says it's going to be really bad if they don't get the power on before dark. Let me check a couple of the local sources and see what they're saying. Yes, so Expresso, which is a newspaper in Portugal, says the electricity company there expects to restore power in Porto, Portugal, by 8:30 p.m. and Greater Lisbon at 11:30 p.m. And local time in Portugal is what, 7 p.m. right now or 6? It's 7 p.m. Porto is the second biggest city in Portugal. Also, the director of the electricity electricity authority in REN in Portugal said that they hope to have the system fully balanced tonight. And it is crucial not to take false steps because we can throw away all the progress. That's according to Expresso. But again, the estimate that the electricity company is saying in Portugal is power restored by 90 minutes from now in Porto and by about 4.5 hours from now in Greater Lisbon. One other thing I want to mention is according to Expresso, which is a newspaper in Portugal, at a press conference, the Portuguese electricity operator said that they couldn't pinpoint a specific cause, but moments before the blackout, they said we saw a major voltage fluctuation in the Spanish network. Again, the Portuguese electricity operator said just before the blackout, they saw a major voltage fluctuation in the Spanish network. Oh, this is interesting. At that time, the Portuguese electrical system was taking advantage of cheaper energy from Spain. So they were pulling in electricity from Spain. The fluctuation in the Spanish network caused the power plants to trip. Something that happens similarly to what happens in the panels of people's homes. So it sounds like from that explanation that Portugal was affected because at the time they were taking in electricity from Spain, and there was some kind of issue with the Spanish network, and that fluctuation in the voltage, the major voltage fluctuation, caused shutdowns of power plants in Portugal. Which is interesting. Hang on a moment here. Big Back says, can Portugal not produce their own electricity? It looked to me like they sometimes take something in from, sometimes they take some in from Spain. I don't know about their total production there. Oops, I don't even have the headline up. Thank you, by the way, to Tim Glenn. Tim Glenn says, I would say maybe it's getting hotter and people were turning on their AC at the same time, but Europeans don't believe in air conditioning. That's what Tim said. Yeah, there's no reporting I've seen that this had to do with some sort of demand surge. Thank you also, Jeannie Sparks. I don't know when I'm starting the Canada coverage. It'll probably be, I don't know, 7, 8 p.m. Eastern time, I'd guess, Jeannie, for Canada elections. I mean, a lot of the polls don't close in Canada until around 9:30 p.m. So we'll be covering it tonight, though. Thank you, Jeannie. We'll be covering the Canadian election tonight. Thank you, Doug Ross, for your support. Thank you, Doug. Also, Macro Geek, thanks for the gift memberships. And Jesse's Girl. Oh, hold on. I have a different live video. View of Valencia, Spain's Nord train station. Affected by power outage. Hey guys, this is a different video. It's Valencia, Spain.
Y ahora me vienen con estas otra vez.
Son las 8 de la tarde.
Hombre.
A ellos les da igual.
Pero ustedes son la autoridad.
Dígame qué hago. A ellos les da
Ir
igual.
allá a Renfe y decir, abrir las puertas y poner autobuses. Es lo que se necesita.
I gotta put my headphones on.
Hasta mañana no hay.
Y con decir unos días se quedan así tan panchos. Pues no, porque hay que ir mucha gente.
Hang on.
¿Cómo que no pueden?
Atajo de sinvergüenza, es lo que son.
Tenemos los billetes pagados.
Pagas una pensión que te piden 80 euros por meterte a dormir ahí. Venga, hombre. Que me suelta que me vaya al taxi.
This is the Nord train station, which has been affected by this blackout.
Ahora han abierto, ¿eh? Hola. Ah, la gente corre, mejor bro. La gente corre, vamos.
I wonder if trains are operating. People are going into the station. Did they maybe get some power back? I don't know. Or maybe they opened it for people to wait. I'm not sure. But a bunch of people just went in there. Look at that.
¿Qué han dicho ahora?
Maybe the camera will go inside. Uh-oh. What's happening?
Dentro no puedes entrar. Bueno, aquí afuera nos podemos quedar, ¿no?
Fuera aquí,
la
sí.
esplanada.
¿Vale?
La puerta, vamos a intentar ponernos aquí, intentando la gente para tener un tiro de represión.
I think the police might have said, "Don't go in there." Are there lights on inside? That I can't tell. Is it just sunlight? MRM says he told him he could not go in. Minio thinks they opened the doors so people could go in. I'm not seeing lights on in there, but I don't know. This is Valencia Station North, I believe. The Nord train station. Is there a light on? They're opening the doors. It looks like they just opened the doors. Yeah, LER, I don't know if the trains are, if these, so remember, the medium and long distance trains are not working tonight in Spain. But the commuter trains could start functioning tonight, they said. So, I mean, it kind of looks like people there are waiting for a train. It doesn't look like people are going in there to just hang out, right? A lit TV screen somebody saw? I mean, I see what appears to be maybe a light on. Oh, are those screens lit up back there? Hold on, I'm hearing a PA system is working.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes, good afternoon.
Pero no tenéis ningún tipo de autorización ni nada. No, digo vosotros. ¿Tenéis algún tipo de autorización? Porque cerraban por aquí, no soy yo. El problema es que podéis firmar.
Now some people are walking out. Why are people walking out? People are walking away. Did a bus get there? Is that a bus back there? Maybe? I'm confused. Are these people just arrived? I was looking for updates here. Now those lights aren't on right there though, right? I see lights there that are not on. Jeff Manji thinks power is still out in the station. I mean, I'm not seeing lights on there. Yeah, I'm trying to get you some more updates here. ABC Spain reports that 84% of the Basque country in Spain has recovered its electricity supply. Many gas stations have been closed due to the blackout. Thanks to Joe Brown. Joe Brown says, whatever the cause, it's for sure a very significant effect and most unusual cause. Yeah, huge power outage. Maybe affecting tens of millions of people. You know what? Give me about 1 minute here. I need to take 1 minute. We're going to do some more updates on this. I'm going to leave the video up. I just need 1 minute myself. Give me 1 minute as I let you look at this video. One minute. I'm coming right back. Hang on.
¿Qué medio sois?
Agencia Reuters.
Agencia Reuters.
¿Eh?
Agencia Reuters.
Yo venía alguien de y de medio de comunicación autorizada por jefe de estación. Vale. Chuta. No, gracias.
Atención, debido a una avería general, la circulación está interrumpida el día de hoy.
All right. Thanks for your patience.
Debido a una avería general, la circulación está interrumpida el día de hoy.
I can't make out what the... Can anyone make out what that announcement was? I couldn't really make it out. Let's see if somebody in the in the chat. He said the service is interrupted for today. Is that what he said? So I don't know. This station is Nord train station. And we already have heard that the country announced that the medium and long range trains are not working today. So Lola says he said suspended service due to the power outage. Oh, I have another video from well, I still have the video from Barcelona too. It's not particularly exciting, but I'll put that up as well. Hold on.
Atención, debido a una avería general, la circulación está interrumpida en el día de hoy.
Let me put up the other video too. Oh no, we might have lost that shot. Maybe that's the end of the shot from Valencia. We'll have to put the Barcelona one up if that's true. That was interesting though. Interesting video from Joe Goldenblum says I was expecting to be more catastrophic. Well, remember there have been dozens of trains. As of like an hour or two ago, there were dozens of trains still trapped where people hadn't been rescued. So, I mean, we're now at about, what is the current time in Spain? Here, I'll get the other video up. The current time in Spain is, we're almost 8 hours in right now to this. Almost 8 hours. All right, so this is actually Barcelona here. So we'll give you that. Let me see if I have updates for you on this. I have an update from you. EFE News reports that according to EFE News, around 300,000 of the 2 million electricity users in Portugal have power again. Now, the population of Portugal is, hold on a second here. One user can be more than one person. $11 million population. Anyways, according to EFE News, some 300,000 of the 2 million users of Portugal's electricity system have power again. That still means a lot of them do not have power. Annika thinks it'll take 3 days. Mark, the Portuguese government says no signs of a cyber attack. Our viewer radar core thinks people at home should make sure appliances and air conditioners are switched to the off position to keep the grid from spikes in energy consumption until the grid is up. At least that's what my power company tells us to do when we have an outage. Thanks, Radar Core Texas, for writing in. Hang on a moment here. And the president of the European Council also said no indications of any cyber attack. I have another update here. The city in Spain, A Coruña, said that they rescued about 90 people trapped in elevators. Another city we heard from, a city or region, said they rescued about 300 people trapped in elevators in Spain. I would not be there were certainly at least hundreds of people. I would not be surprised if thousands of people, but certainly at least hundreds of people in Spain were trapped in elevators from this and have been rescued. Oh, also, I see a report from El Mundo saying bus service in Barcelona is being increased to help people who will not be able to use trains. Wow, and then this is very interesting. This is very interesting. Renfe is Spain's national-owned railway company, Renfe. According to El Mundo, Renfe is evacuating today between 30 and 35,000 people who were stranded on trains on the tracks due to the blackout. Now, I believe a lot of them have been, if not all of them, have been evacuated already. But there were 30 to 35,000 people who needed to be evacuated from the trains. That's according to El Mundo. Marco says Renfe is one of the best high-speed train operators in Europe. Their network is amazing. Can see buses working there. Let me give you an update from Renfe, by the way. That's the national train operator in Spain. They say no medium and long distance trains in Spain are expected to operate today. Once power is restored, it will take 2 hours to restore service. The commuter rail network will allow free access to travelers today and tomorrow when traffic resumes. No ticket will be required, although access controls will be in place, they say. Also, there will be various train stations that will be open tonight where people can spend the night if they need to, says Renfe. Jake Blue says it could have been worse. Weather is mild. Also, Flight Radar 24 reports that flights to and from Newark are currently being affected by an equipment outage. LP96 thinks this would have been devastating midwinter. How about also very hot weather? The Ministry of Transport of Spain says rail service is suspended throughout mainland Spain until further notice. That includes commuter, medium distance, and long distance. The Ministry of Transport of Spain says do not go to train stations until further notice. Medium and long distance trains will not be restored today. Commuter trains will be operating depending on the station. Avoid travel. As of about 90 minutes ago, 26 trains still need to be evacuated. Also, the Ministry of Transport in Spain says it is recommended to avoid traveling by car. Again, it is recommended to avoid traveling by car. I know a lot of traffic lights have been affected. And as I mentioned before, the Portuguese electric operator REN said that they saw a large voltage fluctuation in the Spanish power grid just before the blackout. At the time, the Portuguese energy system was importing energy to take advantage of better pricing. But there is no official cause. Yeah, as one of our viewers said, they say don't go to the train stations, but they've also opened up some stations if people need to shelter there. I mean, I think maybe what they're saying is, maybe some people got stuck somewhere, but if you don't need to go out, don't. But maybe some people are stuck, far away from home. I think they mean don't go to the stations to travel on the trains. Oh, I have another video for you guys that I'm going to show you. We might have just lost that video anyway. I think maybe we did. Well, for the moment, let me just do this. So what you can see here, there's another video here. Huge power outage brings parts of Spain and Portugal to standstill, says Reuters. Grounding planes, halting public transport, causing panic buying, and leaving the two countries scrambling to restore power to millions of homes and businesses. Some hospitals halted routine work. Some shops shut their doors. And officials are trying to find out what caused this. Outages on such a scale are extremely rare in Europe, they say. The Spanish Prime Minister said there's no, they don't know the cause yet. There's no evidence of any civil protection problems. Let me show you here. We have another video that goes along with this article that we haven't watched yet. Is this it? That's not the one. Here it is. Is there sound on this? Here's the video. We have another video for you guys.
Large traffic jams and delay.
Here is another video. Here's a video from Reuters about the blackout from that article. Let's watch this.
Spain and Portugal were hit by a widespread power outage on Monday that paralysed public transport, caused large traffic jams and delayed trains and flights. Utility operators sought to restore the grid, with the cause yet to be confirmed. However, Portugal's grid operators said a rare atmospheric phenomenon in Spain, due to extreme temperature variations in the country's interior, caused the power outages.
Let me say something about that. Earlier today, I believe it was the Portuguese electric company that said that to Sky News about a rare atmospheric phenomenon, but I haven't heard more from them, and I have not seen any kind of official statement they've released saying that. So that's been reported. Again, I saw a report saying that somebody said that from that company to Sky News. I don't know if they're still saying that anymore, just to be clear. So, officially, I have not seen an official statement put out by them that said that. But I will certainly, officially they said in a press conference there was a fluctuation in the voltage in Spain, just in the Spanish network, just before the blackout. So I'll replay that part, but just, again, that's a comment that I think somebody made earlier from the company, but I haven't seen them back that up with an official statement.
Confirmed. However, Portugal's grid operators said a rare atmospheric phenomenon in Spain, due to extreme temperature variations in the country's interior, caused the power outages. In parts of Portugal and Spain, traffic lights stopped working, causing gridlock. Transport networks were halted and people were trapped in the metro and in elevators. In Madrid, hundreds stood in the streets outside office buildings, with a heavy police presence around some important buildings. The capital's mayor urged residents to minimise all travel and stay at their current locations if possible. Airports in both Spain and Portugal reported delays and the activation of emergency generators. The Spanish and Portuguese governments met to discuss the outage, and a crisis committee was set up in Spain, sources familiar with the situation said. Power outages on this scale are rare in Europe. In 2003, a problem with a hydroelectric power line between Italy and Switzerland caused a major outage across the whole Italian peninsula for 12 hours. Spain and Portugal were hit.
It's striking to see those videos with the traffic lights not working. Remember, this is in the middle of the day when this happened, about 12:30 Spain time. There's all kinds of people on trains, at work, on the road. It's not like they got a heads up this was happening. So even if people end up going home, people have to get home. And just imagine, any country, the power just stopping, and then all of a sudden the traffic lights don't work. Our viewer Athios says there's no weather anomaly today. Something is wrong. Pedro says, I don't think it's working in Lisbon. It's working in some other areas. We saw a report that the Lisbon power in Greater Lisbon is expected to come on by about 11:30 tonight. One of the one of the Portuguese newspapers was saying that. Hang on a moment here. Hang on a moment. Where is my other thing? Oh, I think we lost the other video. We don't have any live video anymore, I don't think, from Spain. We had it for a little while, though. We had it for a little while. I'll see if I can get you any more updates here. Hold on a moment. One moment. One of our viewers, I forget who sent me this, mentioned a post by the Ukrainian Minister of Energy. Can I find who sent me this? Thanks to whoever sent it to me. I can't find it right now. But the post said from, where is it here? Where'd it go? German Galushenko, Minister of Energy of Ukraine. He posted, Ukraine is ready to assist in restoring the stable operation of the energy networks of our partners and allies in Europe. We are ready to share the knowledge and experience, including those gained during the systematic Russian attacks on the energy infrastructure. We are grateful to the EU countries for their support, and we are always here to provide assistance. According to Expresso, which is a news outlet in Portugal, Lisbon Airport in Portugal remains quite limited. There will be no flights in the city until at least 10 p.m., according to Expresso. In the Portuguese airports manager said in the recent updates that in the last 2 hours, there had been 4 flights arriving and 4 flights departing. Lisbon Airport is an international airport in Lisbon. It's the 12th largest airport in Europe, but they are very limited right now. Oh, we can check and see if there's an update on the generation front. Oh, update. Hey guys, we have an update for you. This is from Renfe. Hang on a moment here. Hang on one moment. Here is this. News update. There we go. Renfe, which is the train operator in Spain, says commuter trains will not operate today. So what they had been saying is that medium and long range trains would not operate, but it's possible that commuter trains could operate today, which I assume means more short range trains. Now they're saying the commuter trains will not operate today. Wow. I mean, that's basically, as I understand it, that's basically all the trains in Spain stopped operating when the blackout hit, and they will not resume all day. That's starting at 12:30. I told you before, over 30,000 people have had to been evacuated today from trains in Spain. I mean, just imagine some country. If you're in a country that uses trains a lot, think of what happens if around noontime the power goes out and just no trains work for the rest of the day. Stan says railroad signal systems impacted. Yeah, I don't know the specifics. I mean, they don't have power, but I don't know the specifics on what they would need to do to restore the service. The Prime Minister spoke for about 10 minutes about 2 hours ago. How disruptive. Hold on a second here. Simp Nasty says, so they're just leaving people stranded? Well, there's just nowhere. I mean, they don't have a way to transport them. I mean, they've said that they've opened up some train stations for people to stay in. I'm sure there's provisions being made for people to hang out for the night or whatever. But yeah, they just have no way of transporting these people. Thank you, by the way, to Walter L. Walters for your support. Thank you also, Heavenly Intervention. Thank you, Christian DLR, our member. Thanks to all of our moderators as well. Shout out to moderators like Bastion Girl, Big Ball of Yarn, Hearsay, I Got That Fire, Matthew Kohai 3. Kay Lowry Body, Margaret Riley, Linda Belk, Larry Misha. Sandra Lee Hart said, why are trains being evacuated? So what happened is when the power went out, trains stopped on the tracks. They were just stuck. So they had to evacuate people. Tens of thousands of people were stuck on trains. Some, as of a short while ago, were still stuck on trains. Liam Turner says, this is crazy. Yeah, another thing is just the amount of time. So we're not just talking about a huge blackout affecting maybe tens of millions of people, but the amount of time. I mean, we right now power has come on for some people. The last update I saw about Portugal says most of the people there are still without power who lost it. But I mean, this started, over 8 hours ago now? Yeah, over 8 hours ago. And in the middle of the day. Our viewer, DeCarly Guy, thinks somebody knows why it happened. They're just not informing. Ratatoskers says both Spain and Portugal are members of NATO. If this power outage were caused by another nation, then that would trigger Article 5. I'm not sure about that. But again, so far we've not heard any reporting suggesting this was some sort of intentional act. But I will keep you posted as to what we hear. Let's see here. I'm seeing the Community of Madrid, which is the region that includes Madrid in Spain. I'm seeing reporting that they will keep their facilities open, but they've suspended classes tomorrow. Obviously, they'd want to know why this happened to make sure it doesn't happen again. Again, in Portugal, where it is now 7:48 p.m., it is expected that power will be restored by 8:30 in Porto and by 11:30 in Greater Lisbon. And throughout the country during the early hours of the morning, according to Expresso. Some of our viewers say that there's a state of emergency in Spain. Yeah, just to be clear, with state of emergency, that can be from usually, in my experience, what that is it's some sort of, it's like an administrative pronouncement, which allows you to, if a government declares a state of emergency, that allows them legally to then use different resources and maybe spend money and maybe use personnel a certain way. So them saying there's a state of emergency doesn't mean, if that happened, that there's a total catastrophe going on all of a sudden. Because that kind of thing happens in the U.S. and it's something a government will declare to enable them to do certain things. Yes, so Sky News said Spain's interior minister has declared a state of emergency after today's power blackout. But again, I'm not aware that somehow the situation has drastically changed recently. I'm just checking a couple of different sources here. Power is still out for many people, from what I can gather. El País says this is the worst electrical fault in Spain's history. Oh, and I should show you the original statement from Red Electrica, which is the Spanish grid operator. If I can get their statement. Ooh, their website is not looking correct. According to El País, the grid operator in Spain said something like this has never happened before. It is an absolutely exceptional incident. El País said the blackout sent Spain back to the 19th century. So I'm just checking for some other, I'm trying to check some different sources here for updates. I don't need my headphones on anymore. I don't think. No, we had some live video before, but not right now. Hang on, we'll be back in a second. We paused for a second. You can see here it says exceptional power outage in Spain and Portugal affects millions of people. That's from AP. The head of operations of the Spanish power distributor told journalists it was unprecedented, calling the event exceptional and extraordinary. Spain's prime minister said a strong oscillation in the European grid was behind the outage, but the cause was still being determined. The Portuguese National Cybersecurity Center said there was no sign the outage was due to a cyber attack. A European Commission energy official said the power outage was one of the most serious episodes recorded in Europe in recent times. Some civilians in Barcelona ended up directing traffic. Train countries in both services stopped. We now know that train service will not resume today in Spain. On some mobile phone networks, it was not possible to make calls, though some apps were working. People searched for battery-powered radios. It is rare to have such a widespread outage across the Iberian Peninsula with a combined population of about 60 million people. Hey, thanks so much to Crazy Yoda. I really appreciate your support, Crazy Yoda. We don't have an exact number of people affected yet. But certainly, thanks to Rob Van Roy for the gift membership as well. Thanks, Rob. It certainly sounds like much of these two countries has been affected. Vesna, our viewer, says so much for modern tech, old is good. VV says, I like citizens who stand up in times like this. Stacy says, I'll never forget the East Coast outage in 2003. The hospitals, again, from what I've read, hospitals have backup generators to deal with the most serious concerns there. The Northeast blackout of 2003, according to Wikipedia, happened over a time of about 7 hours, time duration about 7 hours. Actually, it says 2 hours to 4 days, depending on location. Most places got their power restored within 7 hours. At the time, it was the world's second most widespread blackout. That it impacted an estimated 55 million people, including people in Ontario and in the U.S. You know, this blackout, that's the Northeast blackout of 2003. This blackout today could be similar in terms of number of people affected, because I think about 60 million people live combined in Spain and Portugal. And it's now about, I think, over 8 hours long. The 2003 blackout's proximate cause was a software bug in the alarm system at the control room of First Energy, which rendered operators unaware of the need to redistribute load after overloaded transmission lines dropped into foliage, which should have been a manageable local blackout cascaded into the collapse of much of the Northeast regional electricity distribution system. That included New York City, by the way. But again, I mean, it certainly seems possible that tens of millions of people were impacted today. Oh, what is this thing here? One of our viewers claimed that the company said they did not say this thing about it being some sort of atmospheric thing. There was this weird report earlier where Sky News had said that Portugal's grid operator had claimed there was a rare atmospheric phenomenon involved in this, but I said I never saw an official statement from them, and I still haven't seen an official statement from them saying that. So I don't know if they never said it or somebody from the company said it, but the company didn't officially say it. But I haven't seen it officially from them. Power is gradually being restored in Spain and Portugal. And a short while ago, the National Energy Company of Portugal said 300,000 of the company's 2 million customers have electricity service restored. That number could be higher right now. Where is the... Oh, I wanted to check that graph from the grid operator. Oh, I think I have I'm loading the graph here. Let's see if it loads. From the grid operator, let's look at this. This is the generation graph from the Spanish grid operator. If it loads. If it works, let's see. I'm attempting to load it. It hasn't loaded yet. Nothing. It's just sitting there. It was working before. What if I hit refresh? Will that work? I'm not seeing a graph. It's just blank. It's blank. Guys, it's blank. Oh, there we go. Ah, okay. When is the last time they updated it? Hey, has it been updated? It's been updated a little bit. What did happen? Okay. So this is the graph of the power generation. And this is the actual power generation here. And around 12:30 Spain time, it just drops from about 27 gigawatts to about 12 gigawatts. And then this is not up to the minute, but as of, that's about an hour ago, I think. Am I right about that, or is that 2 hours ago? How far behind is this? No, this is about 2 hours old because that's it's about 7 p.m. So this is about 2 hours old. As of 2 hours ago, they had gotten back up to from about 12 gigawatts to about 17 gigawatts. But we're now 2 hours later, so I don't know what the exact number is right now. We're now like over here. Green, I think, is the expected production. But anyways, you can see just eyeballing it how much the drop is, and that it is certainly not caught up to where it would need to be fully restored. Yeah, the graph only goes up to about 7 p.m. local time, and it's currently 9 p.m. in Spain right now. 9:05 or whatever. I don't know. The red is, it says hold on, I'll show you. Real, expected, scheduled. I don't know what scheduled is. Again, this is generation. I know it says demand, but this is power generation. So things are progressing, but there's certainly a ways to go, it looks like. But yeah, 9 p.m. local time, around 9 p.m. Spain and 8 p.m. in Portugal. Oh, there's an update about the supply situation. We have an update on the supply situation. Hold on. Hold on a moment. I'm going to get you an update. So, Oscar Puente reported, and it says he is with the Spanish government, right? Oscar Puente? Yes, Minister of Transport. Well, this is as of a half hour ago from the person who posted this. They have reestablished about half of the substations. And Atendida. I don't know how they're using that there. Is served? Anyways, 35.1% of generation is esta entendida. I think that means that they've restored about a third of the total generation. But I'm confused because it was at about 27 and it went down to 12. So 9,100 megawatts is a third of the total generation, what it should be. But they didn't have to restore the total amount. They just had to restore like 15 gigawatts, not 27. So I'm a little confused about that. But the last update we got was that about 5.5 gigawatts of demand had been restored. And now they're saying about 9 gigawatts of demand had been restored. So things are progressing. What I don't understand, though, is, I mean, because it says 35% of demand is being served or whatever. But I mean, if you look at the graph we looked at, it said that the generation dropped down to about 12. So I'm a little, maybe a translation issue. I don't know exactly what that number means, that 9 means. I don't know if that means that the stuff that's been restored after it stopped working. Because the graph suggested that it had not gone below 12, total being produced. Anyways, clearly they are gradually restoring more and more power. Jonathan Moore says, hug your electricity tonight. Give me one moment here. According to El Diario, they say that about it's a little confusing here. I don't want to misread what they're saying. Anyways, clearly the generation of electricity is gradually coming back. Antenna 3 News in Spain says this is the worst power outage in Spain's history. TVE in Spain says 35% of the country's national energy demand has already been restored after the blackout. All right. Here is what I'm going to do. We've been on the air several hours covering this, and I need to tonight cover the Canadian election. So to sum up what's going on here, the biggest power outage in Spain's history, this is massive power outage has affected many people, maybe most people. We don't have an exact number yet in Spain and Portugal. Power is gradually being restored in both countries. Many people still don't have power. Has affected train service, no train service. Train service canceled basically today in Spain. Commuter, medium, and long-range trains. Traffic lights impacted. Over 30,000 people have had to be rescued from trains, evacuated from trains that got stuck when the power outage hit in Spain. ATMs, a lot of ATMs not working. I could go on and on. We've been talking about this here. I haven't heard of any injuries or deaths from the power outage yet, by the way, which is good. It is not clear what the cause is. Portuguese government says they don't believe it was a cyber attack. Spanish government says they are working to figure out the cause. And the Portuguese energy company said that there was a, if I remember this right, a big voltage fluctuation in the Spanish electrical system right before the blackout. And at the moment, at that time of the blackout, Portugal was bringing in energy from Spain. So according to an article we read that said what the Portuguese energy company said, the voltage fluctuation in the Spanish electrical system ended up causing Portuguese power stations to shut down. But we don't know what caused this right now. By the way, Reuters mentions about 43% of Spain's energy comes from wind and solar power, with nuclear accounting for 20% and fossil fuels 23%. Cost2X says they have a cause oscillations in the network. Well, but I would think you'd want an explanation of what caused that. What if this was due to some voltage oscillations, what was causing that? Why did that happen? Jonathan Morris says this cannot be a regular thing. ABC in Spain says 600 operations have been carried out to rescue people in Catalonia, to rescue people in elevators. There have been hundreds, at least hundreds, my guess is it'll be over 1,000, people who had to be rescued in Spain from elevators, because we've been reading about different cities and regions giving their numbers for this. Hundreds and hundreds of people, my guess is over 1,000, have had to been rescued from elevators, which stopped when the power went out. ABC Spain also reports the power has returned to the center of Madrid, prompting cheers from local residents. Again, power has returned to the center of Madrid, prompting cheers from local residents. Diario reports Barcelona has set up at least 3 sports centers for those who need to spend the night. And the latest update we have seen from Spain is that around 35% of electricity demand is being met. Around 7:20 p.m., 21% of electricity demand was being met. But as of about an hour later, 35% of electricity demand was being met, according to what I've seen here. Also, as of about 7:20 p.m., 45% of electrical substations in Spain were operating normally. The last number I think I saw about an hour after that was over 50%. I think it was 51%. Let me see what this says. By the way, the Spanish newspaper Marca talked to an expert about what could have caused this. And the 3 possible causes they have in their article that this expert said were: 1, an excess There's excess demand for energy or shortage of supply. 2 would be that several substations or transmission lines went down due to simultaneous failures, which he said was unlikely barring sabotage. And 3, a system control issue, which he thinks is the most likely cause. But what caused that, we don't know. The experts said the only reliable source on this is the company that operates the electricity in Spain. So not a lot of information there. Marca is pronounced as Marsa, one of our viewers said. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. We don't have a number of initially affected people. I would assume it's certainly millions. I would think maybe tens of millions. Oh, and I'm also going to show you, I'm not going to show you because I don't own the rights to it, but let me post a video link to a stranded train. TVE posted a link showing like a helicopter video of a stranded train. There's just a train out in the countryside somewhere, like a big train with a bunch of cars on it, a passenger train it looks like, and it just got stranded and it stopped working. So these are the kind of trains that have to be evacuated. I mean, imagine if you're in the U.S., you're on an Amtrak train somewhere and it just stops working. I was trying to maybe get you one more update on the overall state of things. RTVE News says says a total of 116 trains got stopped in Spain due to the power outage, affecting thousands of passengers. A total of 116 trains got stopped en route, according to the Ministry of Transport. By the way, hold on a second here. All right, I think it might be time. Yeah, I have not heard reports of looting, no. So anyways, I think I'm going to start wrapping up this stream. I'm going to come on a little later and cover the Canadian election tonight in a few hours. So I will post, if I see big updates about this, I'll post about it on my X account, which is @Lookner. You can follow me over there, @Lookner on X. So I'll post there. But again, gradually power being restored. We're hearing about more and more people getting power back in Spain and Portugal, but many people without power right now. And this is over 8 hours after this began. So a huge, again, the biggest power outage in Spain's history. I hope, thoughts with everybody in Spain and Portugal impacted by this. I hope they can get their power back soon if they don't have it. And lots of people stranded, not where they were, not where they want to be right now. Maybe they were at work or on traveling and had no way of getting home, or at school or whatever. So hopefully they can all get power back as soon as possible. And let's hope, I have not heard of any injuries yet from the outage. Let's hope that continues. And let's hope they can figure out what happened so to prevent it from happening again. We do not have an explanation of why this happened. So anyways, I will post updates on my account, my X account, but thoughts with everybody in the region. Special shout out to anybody watching from the region. But it sounds really crazy disruptive. Hopefully doesn't. And also, obviously issues with businesses having to shut down. I've read stories online of like people's food spoiling, and there's all that kind of thing and everything. So, even losing power for a few hours can be enormously disruptive. But this has been going on all day there. So let's hope that everybody get their power back soon. Anyways, I'm going to start wrapping up the stream. In a few hours, we'll come back tonight to cover the Canadian election. And I really appreciate you being here for our live coverage today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for everybody who's been sending me updates that they've been seeing, for letting me read your comments on the air and writing in. I do appreciate that. And if you want to, you can subscribe, follow the channel, Agenda Free TV. We cover all kinds of live breaking news without an agenda, Agenda Free TV. And turn the notifications on. I don't know when big news like this is going to happen, so I can't tell you in advance we're going to be on the air. But we have a notification system that works awesome. You sign up once for free, and you get sent a notification whenever we go live. We do it through Discord. The mods will post a link to the notifications in the chat. But sign up for those notifications so you know when we're going live. Speaking of our mods, let's shout out our moderators. They are awesome. They're the reason that we can have chat rooms. We couldn't have our chat rooms without the mods. They're keeping it civil and respectful in there in the chat room. So big thanks to you over there on YouTube, people like Ruth Krafasi and Janet B. Huge thanks. Al Star and our other YouTube moderators, our Twitch moderators, people like Bastion Girl, Big Ball of Yarn, I Got That Fire, Matthew Kohai 3, thank you. Our Facebook moderators, Paul Anderson, Margaret Riley, Kayla Ribati, and over there on X, Linda Belk, Larry, Misha, and all of our other moderators. Any I missed, thank you so much. And also, huge thanks to everybody who donated to the channel. That's what allows the channel to exist, is your support. So I really, really appreciate it. I think I owe a couple thank yous still. Thanks to Dodger Blue for being a member. Thanks, Weasel Man. I really appreciate your support and your note, Weasel Man. Thanks also, Matt. Matt says solar activity is at an 11-year high. He says a major solar flare was recorded today. I haven't heard that solar activity is connected to this. I don't know. So we'll see what ultimately the Spanish electrical operator says in the Spanish government about this. Thank you so much, Matt. I really appreciate that. And Crazy Yoda. Thank you, Crazy Yoda. Who says, we've experienced cities here in the U.S. losing power, but entire countries on another level. Now, of course, Spain is smaller than the U.S., but this is an enormous, enormous outage. Yeah, it's a huge outage. It's potentially tens of millions of people impacted by this. Thank you, Crazy Yoda. Thank you also, Donna Smith, for the gift memberships. Melody Aceves. And Sentient Cannabis for subscribing on Twitch. Mr. Stealth for subscribing on Twitch. Soupsies for the gift subs. Hey, thanks for the gift subs. Soupsies. And everybody else who donated, that's really nice of you. That's what allows the channel to operate and exist. If you ever want to donate, you go to agendafree.tv, agendafree.tv. Let's see. Also, we have a chat. You can chat with other viewers when we're not on the air. It's free, our Discord chat. A bunch of our viewers like doing that. Check it out. It's the same link as the link to our notifications system. I just saw from RTVE in Barcelona, the electric service has been restored to 30%, I guess, of customers. That's what it says in RTVE, 30% restoration in Barcelona. Let's see. Hey, thanks to our Discord mods for all your help. Really appreciate it, Discord mods. Another way to find out when we're going live, for those of you who are on X, follow us on X at AgendaFreeTV. I post on our X account whenever we go live. I post updates about the channel there too, at AgendaFreeTV on X. And also, if you're watching on YouTube, I would suggest turning on the YouTube notifications so you can find out that way that we're going live or that we're live. It's a little funky to turn on the YouTube notifications. What you need to do is you just subscribe to the channel, and then you have to click the notifications bell. There's a bell you got to click, and then once you hit the bell, you choose all notifications. Oh, thank you, Derek Elkins, who says ham radio operators all over the world aren't having fun today. Now, why is this, Derek? Are you talking about a solar thing? Is that what you're saying? Derek? Maybe? Thank you, Derek, by the way. Let's see here. Hold on a second here. Oh, I want to say a couple more thank yous. Thanks so much to our Twitch subscribers for supporting the channel. Matthew Kohai 3, Artful Nothing, Wall Street and Shaggy, Ascension Cannabis, Drunk Can't Cook, Soupsies, Mr. Stealth 82, Jazzy Renee. Thank you. And what is this thing here? All of our other Twitch subscribers, thank you for your support. Also, our Facebook subscribers, thanks so much for supporting by subscribing on Facebook. People like Helen Anderson, Jennifer Ellers, Margaret Riley, Kay Lowry Body, Robert Rial II, Sharon Klassen Goslin, thank you. Aaron Van Ness. Thanks, Sharon Klassen Goslin, for the Facebook stars, by the way. I appreciate that, Sharon. And Diane Allworth, thank you. Jennifer says, we're so reliant on electricity. Derek Elkins says, solar flares have massively impacted radio wave propagation. That's what Derek says. Thank you, Derek. That's very kind of you. Also, thanks to Teresa, our member. And thanks to our YouTube members so much. Gary Baines, pianist in progress. Thank you. I never say that word out loud. Pianist. Thanks to our members, Eric Johnson, Scott Lady, CAC 813, Weasel Man, Jen's Crunchy Vax, Joe Hart, June 0130, Austin Batman, Doug Cahill, Bernie C, Cheryl Simpson, Callie Raven, Manic Miner, Dodger Blue, all of our other YouTube members. Thank you. Rob Van Roy, Dennis Kennedy, Roger Shoemaker, Leslie Ladyhawk. Okay, so again, I will be back on in a few hours to cover the election results tonight from Canada. Just going to do a last check here to make sure I don't have any other updates to give you. ABC Spain says in the Valencian community, power restoration is between 20 and 25%. And there's a quote here from ABC, that a quote from the from an official, a director of the grid operation services, who said it may be hours before the electricity will completely return, and as we've seen, 35% of electricity is now of demand is being serviced. I've seen that 35% number of times. So the latest number I'm seeing is 35% restoration. If I'm interpreting that right, because I keep seeing that number. That's the latest I've seen. Oh, thanks to Derek Elkins, our member. Thank you, Derek. All right, guys. So I'm wrapping this up. Again, still a major power outage in Spain and in Portugal, ongoing, but slowly improving. Thanks, Tay1, for watching, by the way. Oops, what happened here? Why did that happen? Oh, I'm signed in either way. All right, guys, so I am wrapping up this live stream now. Thank you for watching our live coverage of the power outage in Spain and Portugal. I hope that everybody gets their power back soon there. That is it for now. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you can join me tonight for our coverage of the Canadian election, and we will see you soon with more live breaking news coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.